There's no denying baby monitors are great for parents wanting to keep an eye on their sleeping baby or troublesome toddlers, but using a baby monitor can occasionally open you up to some truly terrifying experiences. So prepare to be thoroughly unnerved as we explore some of the creepiest things caught on baby monitors. Alien frequencies. Imagine the fear as a parent knowing your child is alone in their room and hearing what sounds like a demonic dog howling through their monitor. Similarly, you'd probably think you were about to get beamed up if you heard eerie alien-sounding voices like these screeching out of your device. But thankfully, neither aliens nor ghosts are responsible for these creepy clips. In both cases, the baby monitors inadvertently picked up stray radio signals through their receivers. In the second clip, the frequency compression effects of the monitor made whoever was speaking, likely a police officer using their radio, sound like they were from outer space. The first clip is a little different, and a little creepier too. The sound is likely a child crying, likely picked up from a neighbor's monitor, distorted by the distance from the source. Not that that makes it any less terrifying to hear. That's not my child. When Sandy Kaplanis turned on her nanny cam to check on her dog one day in June 2016, she saw something she would never forget. Instead of seeing her chocolate Labrador, Sandy was instead greeted by this little girl sleeping in bed. Sandy had no idea who the little girl was, nor how her home security camera had managed to pick up the live feed. Most likely, the nanny cam had been supplied with an incorrect signal intended for one of the security company's other users. That makes things even scarier, knowing that live feeds of your sleeping loved ones could be seen by anyone if the monitor company slips up. The baby stealer. Imagine you're sitting in your living room one dark evening. Your baby is upstairs and everything is peaceful. Then some movement on your video baby monitor catches your eye. To your horror, you see a woman in your child's room, reaching into their cot, picking them up, and leaving. You race upstairs and into the baby's room, only to find your baby right there, fast asleep. That's exactly what happened to Reddit user Miss Mordor. She had the fright of her life before she realized her baby monitor had been showing her a feed of her neighbor's kids rather than her own. It was a relief, but it remains another example of the alarmingly questionable security of these devices. The Restless Teddy. This may look like an ordinary teddy bear behind its baby pal, but it gets a lot less cute when it does this. It suddenly moves its head like it's watching the baby with sinister black beady eyes. Fortunately, there's a possible explanation for this. It seems that when the baby moves, its blankets pull the teddy bear with it. You can see this more clearly in the moments that follow. At least that's the explanation I'm sticking with. It's much less scary than the possibility this clip is evidence that Toy Story was actually a documentary, and that children's toys are watching us while we sleep. The Thin Intruder. This video, captured back in 2012, shows a strange beam of light hovering above a child's bed during the night. It looks like a mere camera glitch at first, but oddly, the light appears to pass through the child's headboard. Plus, it seems to grow dimmer the further it moves away from the camera, suggesting it's something that's actually present in the room. Could it be a simple camera error? Perhaps a cobweb carried on the air? Or is it the child's recently deceased grandmother watching over her loved ones from beyond, as the owner of the video claims it is? You decide. Trespasser on tape. Imagine waking up one morning, checking the night's baby monitor footage out of general curiosity, when you witness the unthinkable. A stranger was in your house during the night. For a family in Utah, that horrific thought was reality. And it gets worse. Their nanny cam captured footage of a strange man breaking into their home in the early hours of the morning. He can be seen carefully creeping around the house, past the baby, before stopping and creepily watching the sleeping mother. The midnight intruder left without taking anything or touching anyone, but was never identified or seen again. Truly skin-crawling stuff. Baby's watchers. When a mother noticed activity on her baby monitor camera, she was so shocked by what she saw, she immediately shared it to Facebook, where it went viral. The mom claimed to have captured spirits hovering over her sleeping daughter. The anomalies initially appear to be little more than dust on the lens, but something vaguely resembling a ghostly head and shoulders eventually glides onto screen. The form descends upon the baby, but stops slightly above it. It moves back and forth for a while before finally moving out of sight. Whether it's a tiny insect on the lens, some type of malfunction, or something else entirely is unclear. But watching this clip late at night certainly gives me the creeps. Let me know your theories for this one in the comments below. Music from beyond. In 2015, this baby monitor captured some spine-chilling music, seemingly coming from a baby's bedroom. But when the father goes into the bedroom to investigate, there's no music or anything in the room that is capable of playing a tune. The father reported that no matter how many times he changed the monitor's frequency, he'd still catch the eerie, out-of-tune notes occasionally drifting out of the baby monitor. The randomness of the dissonant notes, as if they're being played by an entity with an ever-loosening grip on reality, makes this one of the creepiest clips on the web. Visiting hours. In early 2019, a mom from Michigan captured this ghostly figure walking around her daughter's bedroom in the middle of the night. The young girl's attention seems to have been captured by whatever passes by, but the figure disappears at the exact moment she stands up to investigate. According to the mom, when she woke up the morning after the footage was recorded, her daughter was covered in mysterious scratches that hadn't been there the day before. The parents claimed to have experienced other creepy phenomena inside the house, but this was the first time they'd caught anything on camera. Of course, the figure caught on camera could just be a trick of the light, or a glitchy digital amalgamation of previously captured footage of someone walking past. But considering the marks allegedly left on the little girl's body, there's certainly something ominous about this story. The Undying Joke. In May 2017, this mom was home alone with her baby son Connor when she witnessed him laughing at something unseen on the baby monitor. What's more, Connor had been seen laughing and smiling at the same, seemingly empty spot in his bedroom several other times that day. That was creepy enough, but things kicked up a notch when Connor's mom, Mary, took a closer listen. Did you hear it? Mary suggests a disembodied male voice can be heard in the background. Listen again. Strangely, Mary claims that the noises that the voice was making were very similar to sounds her late father-in-law would make to get his grandchildren to laugh before he died. But on analysis, it sounds a little like the so-called adult voice may be a distorted version of the baby's laugh, pitched down in a processing error. Listen to the similarity between the two. Perhaps a connection issue is at fault, but whether or not Grandpa's bringing the laughs to his relatives from beyond the grave, kids laughing at nothing is always creepy. Creepy close-up. On first glance, you'd be forgiven for assuming this round-headed, bug-eyed creature is from another world. But thankfully, it's just another creepy baby, with the small amount of light illuminating his forehead while leaving his eyes in shadow. The 3-month-old gave his parents a terrible fright when they spotted him staring them down in the dead of night. If the eyes are the windows to the soul, this baby must be the devil. Children of terror. If you're still not convinced kids can be terrifying, here's some quick-fire proof. Take this toddler who's striking a classic exorcist pose while the camera captures her brightly reflected eyes. These glowing eyes are creepingly common in these types of photos thanks to babies' disproportionately large eyes and dilated pupils in the dark. Even creepier glowing eyes are on show here in Exhibit B. A Reddit user captured the image of his son sleep standing in the middle of a darkened room, staring up at someone or something. Apparently, he does that at the same time every single night. It's almost as bizarre as this little girl who terrified her aunt by deciding to sleep feet up. This youngin', on the other hand, looks hungry for blood as she stares ominously into the camera, while this one mixes sheer terror with a little bit of humorous, chubby cuteness. And finally, this little shadow-veiled boy seems to have chosen Zombie Mother Mary is his Halloween costume this year, to horrifying effect. Why these babies all insist on looking directly into the camera, and hence into our souls, may be a question best left unanswered. Mommy's here. This picture on its own is enough to induce nightmares. I mean, what could be creepier than a tall, ghostly, gaunt-looking woman leaning into a sleeping child's crib while seemingly screaming at the baby monitor? Well, while little is known about the picture's origins, the backstory provided in one of its earliest appearances online makes it a million times scarier. According to an obscure Spanish paranormal Facebook community, the woman is the baby's mother who died in childbirth. Her troubled spirit returns every night to comfort her crying child. The story is probably little more than an urban legend, but even if not, I'm not sure how much comfort a woman resembling a horror movie monster can bring. But hey, being a new mother is hard. If this one looks a little haggard, who can blame her? The Monitor Men. Now for two stories that aren't just creepy, they're downright terrifying. When a 3-year-old boy told his parents he was scared of the man in the baby monitor in 2015, they assumed it was just childhood imagination at play. That was until they heard the man for themselves. A voice could be heard coming from the monitor in the baby's room saying, "Wake up, little boy, Daddy's looking for you." Turned out the Wi-Fi monitor had been hacked and some sick stranger had been communicating sinister messages to the child, even moving the camera to follow him around his room. The hacker was never found, but it was far from the only case of this happening. An even scarier incident occurred in Cincinnati in 2014. One evening around midnight, Heather Schreck suddenly heard a man's voice coming from the baby monitor app on her phone. She checked a video feed only to see the camera moving of its own accord. Realizing her monitor had been hacked, she desperately tried to disconnect the system, but not before having to hear the man's voice violently screaming at her baby to wake up, alongside other obscene exclamations, scarring both her and her daughter for life. Unexplainable ghostly phenomena might be creepy, but twisted human beings like this who choose to torment the innocent? There's nothing scarier than that. Which baby monitor moment freaked you out the most? Has anything like this ever happened to you? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.